Has this ever happened to you? You give a man your time, your attention, your energy, and yet he loses interest, distances himself, and treats you like you're just one of many. You feel that burning frustration. The more effort you put in, the more he pulls away and you're left confused and powerless. Maybe you've tried everything, being the perfect girlfriend, the passionate lover, the understanding partner. You've given him second, third, even 10th chances. You've justified his coldness, rationalized his indifference, elevated his small gestures into imaginary feasts. And still, nothing. He remains this frustrating mystery that seems on the verge of surrendering to you, but never actually does. Today, at Mentalidad de Poder, you will discover a brutal truth, a truth that will shake the foundations of your understanding of attraction and forever change your relationships with men. And that truth is, the male ego, this sensitive yet powerful entity, does not respond to kind words or desperate efforts. It instinctively responds to what you make him feel. And when you know exactly how and where to touch these emotional strings, when you understand his deeper psychology, you can radically change how he perceives you. You can make him crave you with an intensity that surprises even him, think of you day and night, seek you with an urgency that overwhelms him. And all of this without taking even one step toward him. No, this is not cheap manipulation for egomaniacs. It's about understanding the male mind from a position of strength, from the depth of psychology, and using this knowledge to your advantage with calmness, presence, and emotional strategy, like a truly confident woman. A man's ego operates on a different system than that of the average woman. Women long to be admired and respected for their accomplishments. Men, on the other hand, at their deepest core, long to be unique, irreplaceable, and chosen. They want selective attention, constant confirmation of their attractiveness and power, and, yes, often also emotional control over the relationship. Inside them is a little recognition-hungry boy in the body of a seemingly confident adult. Every gesture of admiration feeds him. Every hint of neediness from you inflates his ego even more. That's why the game loses its charm when a woman reacts predictably, when he knows exactly how she will respond to his behavior. But precisely here, in this apparent strength, lies his Achilles heel, and your greatest strategic opportunity. This is the secret that few know and even fewer apply. If you, with the wisdom of a confident woman, interrupt that constant stream of validation he expects, and that most women serve him on a silver platter. If you stop being his predictable source of admiration and security, you leave him emotionally in the dark. And this vacuum, this sudden absence of your affirming mirror, awakens something incredible in him. The urgent need to reassert himself through you, to regain that special feeling you subtly took away. That's exactly where the spark of obsession begins. Every time you chase him after he's pulled away, every time you over-explain, beg for a chance, desperately prove how much he means to you, each time you just inflate his ego further. And an inflated ego, mark this well, does not love. It only enjoys the power over your submission. It's like emotional cocaine. He becomes addicted to the feeling of superiority, but never truly satisfied. He always wants more, but he will never respect you more. In fact, the more you feed this egocentric beast, the less he will value you, because you've shown you're willing to degrade yourself for him. You must learn to break this dynamic and create a new one in which you are the unattainable prize, one in which he constantly wonders if he still matters to you, if he still has any power over you at all. How do you achieve this? How do you go from the one chasing to the one being pursued? With 3 deadly weapons of psychology: emotional scarcity, selective silence, and strategic withdrawal. Men, contrary to what you've been led to believe, don't obsess over boring, predictable stability offered by good and agreeable women. They fall for emotional intensity, the roller coaster of feelings, the challenge presented by a woman they can't fully read or control. Think about it. How often have you seen a man chasing a woman who treats him badly, while ignoring another who would give him the world? This isn't masochism. His primitive brain links challenge with value. What's easy to get can't be that valuable. That's how his subconscious works. I'm not talking about toxic behavior or artificially created drama. I'm talking about emotional unpredictability, calculatedly applied, about breaking his expectations. If every time he pulls away or acts cold, you respond with even more neediness or pleading, he'll only lose more interest or take total control. But if you, in the moment he emotionally withdraws, walk away with quiet determination, with an attitude that shows your life doesn't revolve around him, without explanation, without drama, then he enters a quiet but powerful emotional crisis. And that, my dear, is where obsession begins. What did I do? Has she stopped caring? Has she replaced me? His mind, accustomed to emotional control, becomes completely unbalanced. It's like you secretly changed the rules of the game, and now he no longer knows how to win. Every man wants to feel desired. That's a deep need, but no man wants to feel like he has you for sure, like you're a guaranteed possession. The paradoxical truth is, the more secure you feel having him, the less attractive you become to him. The more secure he feels having you, the less he invests in the relationship. It's a vicious cycle that can only be broken by realizing power in relationships is not begged for, it is radiated. So how do you play this delicate yet explosive balance? By showing interest, limited and measured. Yes, show him that he fascinates you, but never that you need him or that he's the center of your universe. Cut contact exactly when he expects more, at the height of a good conversation, when the connection is strong. Be the one who ends the call or leaves first. Leave him wanting more. That's a masterstroke against his ego and his need to keep control. Don't give him the power to determine the dynamic of your relationship. You set the pace. You decide when you're available. Imagine this situation. He sends you a vague message, one of those texts that could mean anything, perhaps just to test your reaction. The average woman responds with uncertainty, seeks explanations, asks for clarity. A confident woman, on the other hand, pulls back. She might leave the message unanswered for a long time, or respond briefly, neutrally, without any trace of neediness, not out of childish pride, but from emotional strength. This reaction, or rather the absence of one, destroys his entire strategy. He expected your fear, but got indifference. He hoped you'd bite, but you didn't even notice the bait. And that completely throws him off, because it means he doesn't have the power over you that he thought he had. Your silence, that deliberate, controlled silence, is one of the most powerful and destructive weapons you can use. Want him to think about you constantly? Then be silent exactly when he expects you to speak. Offer no explanation when he's hoping for one. Don't seek validation when he withholds it. Just calmly withdraw, with a dignity that leaves him deeply confused. Silence holds a power that words can never reach. When he's used to your constant voice, your explanations, your predictable presence, your sudden withdrawal creates a deafening void. And in that void, his mind fills with questions, doubts, and eventually obsession. This sense of uncertainty, not provoked by him but deliberately created by you, disrupts his power pattern. It knocks him off balance. It forces him to reconnect with you emotionally, because suddenly, with a sharp sting to his ego, he feels he could lose you for no clear reason. And this very feeling of an imminent and unexplained loss can destroy him internally, emotionally. It makes him think about you constantly. And paradoxically, he begins to desire you more than ever before. A man can resist 1,000 logical arguments, ignore 100 declarations of love, but he cannot ignore the weight that a woman with clear emotional direction radiates. A woman who doesn't bow to his moods, who doesn't react to his provocations, who doesn't need his approval to feel complete. Your presence must radiate absolute self-control, a powerful silence that speaks louder than 1,000 words, an energy focused primarily on yourself, your mission, your growth, not on him. When a woman moves through life with this unshakable certainty, something deeply primitive activates in the male brain. He instinctively recognizes that he's facing someone truly special, someone who can't be tamed by the usual tricks. Remember this well. A man doesn't become obsessed with the woman who offers him endless, unconditional love like a servant. He becomes obsessed with the woman who is an elegant, emotional mystery, a prize he could lose if he doesn't work for it. Every time you try to convince him that you're a good woman, that you deserve his attention, that you'd make a great partner, you lose power. You inflate his ego, and at the same time become less attractive. It's as if you're saying, "Please value me." And even if you never say those words out loud, they echo in every desperate gesture. But a man will never truly value what he's begged to appreciate. He only values what he believes he could lose. Respect, admiration, and genuine desire are not begged for on your knees. They're triggered through strategic silence, calculated withdrawal, and deliberate scarcity of validation. Let him feel the stark difference between having you, thinking he had you, and clearly not having you anymore. Let him see that your life doesn't just go on, it thrives without him. Let him feel, with a sting of doubt and regret, that you have truly lost interest. Even if, with the wisdom of a confident woman, you're watching the whole thing unfold from a distance with strategic calm. This might be the hardest part for many women, allowing him to witness your life blossoming without him. But that's exactly what will hit him the hardest. When he realizes you're not just surviving without him, but flourishing, that you shine brighter when you're not in his shadow, something in him will break. That strikes his ego in the most effective way, with no direct aggression, no harsh words, just your calculated indifference and visible progress. Don't say it with accusations. Show it with undeniable facts. Rise in every area of your life, physically, mentally, professionally, socially. Let him see, or at least hear, that you're going out with interesting people. No bragging, just by fully living your life. Radiate confidence and irresistible charm so clearly that he realizes out there is a sea of possibilities, and you're not passively waiting for him to finally appreciate you. Invest in yourself as if you were your most important project. Every day you don't invest in yourself is a day you give your former self, the one who begged for attention, an advantage. Your new self should be so magnetic, so fascinating, so full of her own energy that he can't help but feel that letting you go was the biggest mistake of his life. When a man feels emotionally compared, not because you directly compare him, but because he senses that he's no longer your only option, no longer the center of your world, then his mind spirals. Then the burning desire is born for what he no longer possesses. His wounded pride demands restoration. And the ego that once fed comfortably off your constant attention goes into high alert. And an ego in crisis will do anything to win back its lost source of validation. Every relationship, even the most chaotic, eventually falls into routine. A predictable choreography. He does something, you react, and the game repeats until it becomes boring or distant. Your job is to break this choreography, suddenly and boldly. He plays the aloof one, ignores your messages, don't respond with fear or begging. Stay calm and focus on your life. He sends you hidden messages or tries to make you jealous. Ignore them with almost offensive elegance as if they mean nothing to you. He tries to guilt-trip you or emotionally manipulate you. Don't play along. He uses subtle emotional blackmail. Stay firm without justifying yourself. He only comes to you when it suits him. Don't be automatically available. When you suddenly break out of the usual rhythm, when you stop dancing to his music, he loses emotional control over the situation. And almost inevitably, he begins to dance to your rhythm, to the beat that you set with your strategic indifference and your inner strength, as if you had secretly taken over the remote control of your relationship. Now you are the one who decides when there is closeness, and when there is distance, when there is drama, and when there is peace. And this shift in power confuses him deeply. When you finally take full control of your emotions and stop craving attention as if it were necessary for survival, something magical happens, almost like alchemy. He begins to feel, with a mix of frustration and fascination, that you are the only woman he cannot control emotionally, the one who doesn't fall for his usual tricks. And that drives him crazy because in his mind, being perhaps used to dominating women or wrapping them around his finger, he controls everyone except you. And that very loss of control robs him of inner peace. It creates a consuming restlessness. That restlessness, that unresolved tension, is exactly what links him to you obsessively. You become a riddle he can't solve, a song he can't get out of his head, a thought that haunts him before falling asleep, and is right there again when he wakes up. Not because you are dramatic or conflict-driven, but because you are unpredictably calm, strategically absent, and deliberately indifferent. Always remember, a man can resist your most eloquent words, your most logical arguments, but he cannot ignore the emotional vacuum you create with your strategic absence. Your calculated indifference hits him deeper than any explanation. Don't punish him with anger. Don't scream your frustration at him. Don't explain your new strategy. That would be like betraying yourself. Just disappear strategically from his emotional radar. Work on yourself as if your life depended on it. Because, and this is no exaggeration, in a way it truly does. During this process of personal transformation, something extraordinary happens. You don't just become more attractive to him, you become truly more attractive to the world. Your self-worth no longer depends on his recognition. Your happiness is no longer dictated by his moods. Your inner value no longer fluctuates with his level of interest. And if at some point you feel the time is right, or if he reaches out again with real interest and serious intent, you return, stronger, more fascinating, and more emotionally distant than ever before. That's the deadly combination that makes him chase you, dream of you, crave you, without even understanding why. Even then, when you're already operating on a completely different level of awareness and power. If you can make a man feel that he cannot control you, that he cannot predict your reactions, that he can never be certain of you, then you activate in him a deep, almost primitive urge, the drive to prove to you that he still matters, maybe more than it appears. You become a constant presence in his thoughts, not just another woman on his list. You become a silent obsession, a mystery he cannot give up, even if he tries to ignore you. That, my dear, is true power. The power of a woman who has mastered her own mind, and with it, the emotional dynamic. And here comes the most important point of all. When you reach this level of personal strength, when you develop this emotional mastery, then it no longer matters whether he falls in love with you or gets lost in you, because you have found something far more valuable than any man's obsession. Your own unshakable power, your own unconditional worth, and your own ability to create the life you truly deserve. Remember one crucial thing: you don't have to force anything or beg anyone for attention. The real magic, the real power lies in being emotionally desired, in being the woman who, with wisdom and strategy, leaves just enough space for him to feel the potential loss, the absence of your value. That is exactly what automatically triggers the desire in him. He begins to question his own behavior. He starts to seek you, to need you. And all of that without you taking even the slightest visible step toward him. And this genuine desire, born from his own reflection and bruised ego, is what drives him into obsession, into a constant craving for your validation, your attention, your presence. And let me repeat it, because it's vital you internalize it. This is not manipulation. It is understanding how the male ego works, and more broadly, the human ego. It's the decision to no longer feed that ego with your neediness, your submission, and your predictability. It is applied psychology. It is the recognition of emotional patterns and the conscious choice to stop feeding toxic ones in order to activate healthy dynamics. You are not the one who has to constantly prove her worth. He needs to feel deeply that he can lose you if he doesn't appreciate you, respect you, invest in your connection. And when he does feel that, when his ego feels the blow of your calculated indifference, your strategic silence, your deliberately offered emotional scarcity, then he will begin to seek you with a new urgency, truly appreciate you, become obsessed with you. But by that time, you'll already be on a whole new level, the level of self-awareness and inner strength, where his obsession no longer defines you.